Okay, MFM2Pers, welcome. This is a bit of a strange thing. This is me, Mr. Restall, speaking from the smart board. No, I taped this at home and put this on the YouTube. I'm at curling and someone's there babysitting you. Be nice to the babysitter, i.e. teacher in my place. I'm going to take up the 3-minute review here. And remember, if you want credit for this, you have to have this piece of paper already handed in. Okay? And if it's not in right now, then you're not getting credit for it. Another little message or note before we get too far into this is that if you can't keep up with me, because I go pretty quickly through this, um, I'll have my notes on the smartboard too that you're just going to be able to go through and see as well. Okay, so if you want to get just listen to the lesson and then copy it down after, you're welcome to do that. All right, here we go. Find the value of each indicated unknown. Well, what's the magic word for these problems? We learned last class was SOHCAHTOA, right? That tells us which trig ratio we're going to write down. And so, how do we get going? Well, we have to figure out, with the given angle, which sides are we also given. So this is the reference angle. The 90-degree angle points at the hypotenuse, and this is the adjacent side. So adjacent and hypotenuse, I know I'm going to write down the cosine. And so I'm going to write down a true fact here. Cosine of an angle is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And now all we have to do is solve for x. How do I solve for x? It's divided by 42, so I'm going to multiply by 42. So I have 42 times the cosine of 28 degrees. And I'm going to put that into my calculator. I got my graphing calculator ready to roll here. 42 times cos of 28. And I press enter, and I get 37.1-ish. Is about 37.1 inches. And I know it's weird that we've got 0.1 inches, but that's okay. Indicated unknown in this one, well, it's an angle this time, but still it's the same problem. I want to write down a ratio, one of the sine, cos, or tan. From this angle, this is the hypotenuse here, right? Always across from the 90-degree angle. This is the opposite side because it's not the one that's next to, right? Opposite through the triangle. Sine of, well, x is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, and then I can write that one down. Now, in this case, I want to find x, so I've got to get rid of the sine. That's that sine minus 1 business, right? So I'm going to do the sine minus 1, or the inverse sine of 4 divided by 12. And I can do this in one step on my calculator, the old graphing calculator going here. Second function, sine. There's the little sine minus 1, and you see I've got brackets already. If your calculator doesn't put a bracket in there, you're going to want to put a bracket in there. 4 divided by 12. It's over was divided by, bracket equals, and it gives me 19.5 degrees about. Maybe I'll just say 19 degrees is close enough. Good. 2 down. Change color here. This is going to be a tan one? Nah, I don't think so. What do we got here? This is the hypotenuse, right? That's the hypotenuse, and which one is this from the 65-degree angle? This is the opposite. So opposite and hypotenuse is the sine. Again, the sine of 65 is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. And I know some of you are still liking to write down this sort of thing, and you're quite welcome to keep writing that down, but you don't have to, right? There's our true statement. And now, how do I deal with the x on the bottom? Well, when I multiply, well, I got one step in between, and I know some of you have done enough of these that you know that these two will just switch places. Now I have to divide by the sine of 65 to get x alone, right? Divide by sine of 65. And some of you are sharp enough that you can skip that step and get straight to there. And again, that's something I'm going to put in my calculator straight off. What was it again? 12 divided by the sine of 65. Oh, not 66, 65. 13.2. And notice, just like we mentioned yesterday, it's 13.2 feet. And I know that's weird that we got 0.2 feet, but we're not worried too much about that. The hypotenuse is going to be the longest side, right? Certainly it has to be more than 12 feet. It's got to be longer. And if we did something and we got a hypotenuse that was shorter than one of the other sides, we'd go back and fix it. Okay, that's it for this video. So hopefully you understood that. And video number 2 is coming up after your teacher, on-call teacher, babysitter, whatever you want to call it, hands out the note for the lesson.